Hey guys, Christian Santana here, LaGuardia-based flight attendant. I wanted to bring you a quick video. There's so much going on right now. There's so much uncertainty. There is so much worry about what's going to happen with our jobs. Are we going to furlough? And I know that there's just a lot going on in people's minds, both the people who are flying, the people who are out on leaves. And sometimes it's good to just kind of speak out if you have a thought. And since I became a union advocate, that's something that I haven't held back on doing. And that's why I record these videos when things get kind of crazy. And so I'm going to bring you a message. It's my opinion. It's what I believe. I am not representing the APFA. I am not representing the company. My intention is not to defame neither or. But I think that as flight attendants, there are things that we need to try to be on the same page. And hopefully my message can resonate with some people. Please share it with other flight attendants because some people may get nothing out of it, and it may enlighten others to have expectations. I think that's a big problem right now. I don't think expectations are being aligned with reality, and that comes from both the company and the union. So I hope you enjoyed the message. I'm going to split it up into two parts. I'm going to speak first just a little bit about the company, and then I'm going to go into the APFA part. So bear with me. I didn't want to make the video too long, but here it goes. So after the horrific attacks of 9/11, our airline, specifically American, went through a very difficult time financially, and they went to Congress. Congress gave the company basically a bailout, which is like a blank check. And with that bailout, the airlines did what they had to do financially, restructured. In the end, because I don't want to make this video too long, American got bailed out by the government. American then came back, protected its people at the top, and then the people at the bottom, flight attendants, pilots, mechanics, they wanted us to give them money from our contracts in order for them to supposedly survive, right? No, not a problem. I mean, you know, win together, pull together, whatever the saying was. When we then became profitable and we then were healthy again, you would think out of good faith that an airline of this magnitude would have thought about very fundamental things like pensions, like profit sharing, other things that other airlines, that most airlines had in the past. We're now healthy, we're making billions year after year. I mean, the past 10 years, we've been making a lot of money. And American Airlines never once during this past decade of all these gains, I mean, they merged with the Legacy US, they purchased new aircraft, they've done all these things. They built a beautiful property in DFW. They just gutted everything out and started building. Sort of like when someone gets a check that they weren't expecting and they just go shopping. What they never spent money on was you and me. They never restored our pensions or anything that was important to us. There were many work rules that we fought so hard for. People before me, before I came to American, fought hard for work rules that were so important and valuable because they translated into more money in our paychecks. We gave a lot of that up through bankruptcy. And so today, we find ourselves facing a pandemic that is worse than 9/11 because there's absolutely no end or no, you can plan, but you can't really have a scope of when you're going to need to, let's say, restructure or cut back, etc. And that's dangerous because that opens the door not just for a repetition of 9/11, it opens the door for now worse. So this is where I bring in the union and the APFA part. APFA has a history. I mean, we've been around since 1977. This union has maintained itself independent for a very long time. That's a year after I was born, and I'm 44 years old. So APFA is not just any old little union. I mean, there's a reason why this union has been able to maintain its independence, the only independent flight attendant union in the country. But the danger we face now with this pandemic, the history that we have with what American Airlines did to its employees after 9/11, which at the time was the most horrific thing we faced, and now I believe this pandemic is even worse. Doug Parker puts out an email, a message, a video, crew news. Jill Surdick sends out tons of updates. I think that's great that the company keeps us informed. We're union members. We can't lose sight of the corporation versus union. And so They have billions to pay PR people, strategists, people who go to school just to study how to mentally manipulate a group of people so that they can think you're doing something and you're really doing something else. And that's not to defame Doug Parker or defame our brand or defame anyone. That's how it works in corporate America. So this time around, I'm going to just give a rough ballpark number. Okay, and this is no facts. I'm just giving you a rough ballpark number to be able to explain my thought. If Jill Surdick or Doug Parker come out and say, we need to furlough 100 flight attendants because we don't have the schedule that we were going to have and we don't need 100 flight attendants, there's going to be a number. And hopefully there'll be a zero number. Hopefully they'll come up with things that no one will have to get furloughed. But if there is an involuntary furlough here at American Airlines, I don't care if it's one involuntary furlough. I don't care if it's for a week. I don't care if it's for 5 years. We cannot allow, as a union, a basically rewind and replay of what we just experienced through 9/11, through the bankruptcy courts, through the LBFO, through the CLA. When I started doing union work, I started under an administration and I was learning. I didn't know anything. I wanted to become a union rep because I saw everything that was happening, and I said to someone who was at LaGuardia, I said, listen, I want to get involved. What can I do to help? I got involved. I got on the council. Didn't know that there was such a political saga attached to it that we create for ourselves, within ourselves, which is so, it boggles my mind how we just implode within one another. But I got involved, and the different contracts that we were going through until we got to bankruptcy, where we were literally at the end imposed a ruling by the judge, and we had to stay with whatever contract we had. We voted down what we were presented, and the judge still said, here, this is what you're going to get. And even after that, it was so clear how tricky the company played and how much bad faith there was, because even after the contract were presented to us, the company dangled in front of us and said, if you vote no, you're going to get stuck with a hard 40. And the hard 40 is a big, huge thing. Not to the legacy US people because you've lived with it, but for the legacy A people, it was handcuffs put on us. Because even though most people fly over 40 hours, you never know the day that you're going to need to fly under. And so that was a big thing for us. So after we were dangled these things in front of us to vote yes for the contract, and we still voted no, the courts imposed the contract on us. And that contract that was imposed on us had no protections for anything that the company decided to erase and gut in the bankruptcy court, pensions, all that, nothing. No protections, nothing. And, you know, it was the first time we had faced something like that. So I'm not going to sit here and blame APFA or blame any entity. We were all just getting our bearings. Like I said earlier, I was a new rep. I was learning. I was told this is the best contract we could get. I'm not a negotiator. I was never a negotiator. So when I was doing info rep, I was handed the contract and they said, go out there, here, this is the best final offer. I went out there, I spoke to flight attendants. I was at the tables at JFK at LaGuardia. A lot of flight attendants said, hey, later, say you pushed the TA. I didn't push anything. I was a rep. I signed up to volunteer for my union to get involved. And so I was being led by the people who were running the show. We can go into a whole subject about that, and I'm not going to get into that. That's the past. I am not a person who likes to live in the past. I'm a progressive. I like to live in the present, and I like to move forward. But we made so many mistakes. We literally, even through the courts, we literally let American Airlines in the courts gut us of everything we worked so hard for, the strike in 93, so many things that were attained. They gutted all that, and then no backstop, no protection to get that back if we ever made profit. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Whomever's watching this video, I am telling you right now, when Jill Surdick or Doug Parker announces what the end result's going to be after October or whenever this is going to be determined, and the union has to abide by contract and the rules and the laws, right? We understand that. I will tell you, unions were meant to be social movements. Unions were never meant to be complacent. Okay, that's all we could get. No, we were never meant to be that way. And I'm not here to accuse the administration in office now or past administrations. That's not going to resolve anything. What I am going to tell you guys now, you the flight attendants watching this video, is that unions are a social movement, and unions are only as strong as its membership, as strong as you and as strong as me. And if I'm telling you, if Doug Parker and Jill Sertic think that they're going to come out and put people out on the street, and they're going to do that and not come out at the same time that they're announcing that and show us a protection for those people of when they're going to come back, when they possibly may come back, how they're going to compensate these people, because these were the people who literally flew face on a pandemic that they knew they could possibly be infected with and die or bring it home to their families and their pets. Okay, and I'm not just talking new hires. There were a lot of senior people, junior people. Everybody was flying. And let me tell you, 9/11 was hard. But I got to tell you something. For you to get on an airplane and put on a little mask and think that, you may or you may not come back home and get something that may kill you or kill your family, that's courageous. That's brave. No one in headquarters did that. We did that as flight attendants. So when headquarters comes out with their plan, it's a plan by lawyers in conjunction with the board of directors of AMR, with everybody who has the big bucks in their pocket. It's a plan. It's not no heartfelt anything. I will never buy this whole heartfelt thing and, oh my God, no. I don't want emotions. I don't want your heartfelt anything. I want writing. I want protections. I want everything that we have today. Any drop of anything that this union decides that they're going to give to the company. And I'm saying all this without knowing any information because I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm telling this to everyone, both in ULIS and headquarters, and I'm telling you guys in AMR headquarters. If you think you're going to come out and you're going to rape this membership of our benefits, of our pay, of our work rules, of everything that we have today, that's less than half of what we had the last time you raped us, you have something else coming. Because we're going to rise up as a membership and we're going to go out, not with APFA, we are going to do this grassroots ourselves and we're going to demand fair. And it's very basic math here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm simply a base council rep within the APFA, and I'm a member and I'm a flight attendant. I'm an employee of American Airlines. I'm also a member of the APFA. But I'm also a citizen of the United States, where we have laws and when there's justice. And if you're going to come out and there's something you have to do to get us back to where we were, I'm with you. I'll ride you all the way to the end. But you need to give me in writing assurances of everything you're taking from me that you're going to give it back to me. And that's not money I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of the people that you may put out of work, the people who kept this airline flying through this pandemic. So again, unions are literally, by definition, in my interpretation, social movements. Unions have the law side that they have to deal with, but unions come from a long history of doing things way out of the norm and the book to get what we have today. So flight attendants out there who may not be supportive of APFA, I get you, I hear you. It has seemed like a shit show, in and out, different administrations, don't vote for him, don't vote for her. Guess what? We're facing a very, very difficult time, a pandemic. We don't know how this company is going to get their lawyers to shape this and make this look like the second opportunity to take everything we have. So if you have been only flying a year, or if you've been here 40 years and are retiring next year, all I'm asking for you to do is to be ready and informed, because we may very well have to be the ones to energize our union to go outside the box, to go outside that legal line. And I'm not talking about illegal work action. I'm talking about demanding justice. How we do that is not something I'm going to put in this video. Please fly safe, take care of one another, and support your union, even if the support has to be to an extent fictitious. This is not for the union, this is for you, and this is for me, for those of us out there on the airplanes flying. Take care and fly safe.